Did we react to Trump calling Kamala Islamophobic?
Why would Muslims support Lion Kamala Harris when she embraces Muslim-hating and very dumb person Liz Cheney, a dumb person?
Which message resonates with voters? Kamala Harris hates Muslims and Liz Cheney wants to do permanent war in the Middle East. I love Liz Cheney. I think she's cool. It's so funny because he is the Muslim ban guy. I know, but it does not fucking matter. Oh my God.
Who, by the way, lost for Congress in the biggest margin in the history of politics. She lost by almost 40 points. The reason she has that honor is that most people wouldn't have stayed in. A congressperson that's in that position normally retires before the election, which would have been a good idea for her to do. But Liz Cheney's a total loser. But her father brought years of war and death to the Middle East. He killed many Arabs, many Arabs and Muslims. And now Lion Kamala has embraced Liz Cheney. She embraced her. Why would a Muslim or why would an Arab want to vote for somebody that has Liz Cheney as her hero? Liz Cheney is a totally failed.
I feel like the people in the back will be like, yo, shut the fuck up about Muslims, dog. I don't want to hear about no goddamn Arab. Maybe this Kamala person is actually right. Yeah, losing the Muslim vote. Trump is up with Arab Americans per a poll from Arab News. Losing the Arab American vote to the man who did the Muslim ban. That's the Democratic Party we all know and love. Oh, yeah. They vote conservative because they have conservative values. Hope this helps. That's really interesting, except it's also not true. But that's cool. Be fucking racist. Be more racist. That'll certainly bring Muslim votes back to your side, dude. That, for the record, is historically untrue. American Muslims since 9/11 have so consistently and so overwhelmingly voted for the Democratic Party. Can you tell me why they've done so? Yeah, Michigan Muslims voted for like Biden by 70% in 2020. Muslims are more liberal on many issues. Muslim voters in America are young. They are actually not conservative with the exception of like one mayor. Oh, New York Times today had an article about what you've been yelling about some time now, that the Dems need to speak on what Trump's first term looked like. Yeah, if you want to run an anti-Trump campaign, there's a better way to conduct it. It is not by running towards Trump's policies. It is by actively reminding the people in the suburbs why they hated Donald Trump's presidency, how much they were laser focused on the television, how much they had to deal with their relatives that became crazier and crazier, how much misinformation was being spread. These are the things that privileged, college-educated white voters do actually hate. Just hit that line. You don't have to put Liz Cheney on there to be like, see? It's dumb. It's dumb. There is a way to do this without actively hemorrhaging other groups that find this kind of behavior repulsive. The other side of this is liberals aren't even going, Trump did the Muslim ban. You want to know why? Because they're also anti-Muslim. That's my problem. That's what I keep repeating over and over again. They're also anti-Muslim, dog. That's it. That's it. They're Islamophobic as shit too. And they're actively pushing away people that care about this stuff. They're actively pushing away people that care about war, that don't want war, that fancy themselves to be anti-war, even if it's just like from an optics perspective. They can't talk about Trump's insane immigration policies, which was a massive polarization point for the Democrats in both 2020 and all the way throughout his administration. Cool PA tweet I just saw. 180,000 registered new Amish voters in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, thanks in huge part to Scott Pressler. You know it's a huge deal when the Amish start getting involved in politics. What do you mean? This is not a new situation at all. Donald Trump has been doing this for a while. Donald Trump, in many ways, due to his own personal limitations of like exhausting every base of support that he possibly could from high propensity voters, has always tried to eke out a victory anywhere he can. He's like, oh, are there 10,000 people that like a very specific thing? I'll do that. Here, I'll give you another example. He gave like, I forget what it was, but I think in North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken, I remember very clearly that he offered an indigenous tribe federal recognition. He did that because he wanted to win the extra votes. He's the type of dude who will literally go, oh, there's 100,000 Amish in Pennsylvania. I'm going to get them to vote. He did the weird lobster policy thing for Maine. Yes. Yes. And it's not him personally doing that. There are only 80,000 Amish people living in all of Pennsylvania. It doesn't matter. My point is not necessarily that the Amish vote is going to swing it for Trump. My point is, if there are 80,000 votes that he can win, he will do something for them. He will hyper target them. He will offer them something. He will go to their communities. Kamala Harris, on the other hand, does the exact opposite, where she's like, oh, vote for me because otherwise Trump is going to win and he's bad. Also, 4 years ago, his policies were bad when we said they were bad, but now we're running on his policies. Also, if there are hundreds of thousands of Arab voters that are like, bro, we are not voting for you, you're killing our family members right now, then fuck you, suck my dick. Okay? We want Liz Cheney. My point is, Trump literally doesn't leave any crumbs on the table. On the national stage, he's dog shit. He just keeps crying about like some of the most insane stuff. He keeps running the most indecipherable, incomprehensible campaign. He talks about Arnold Palmer's dick. But then there's moments of old Trump, okay? When he goes to the McDonald's and does the McDonald's thing. That's it. That's him at his best. Trump, new school Trump, who doesn't have the juice nor the sauce, says Haitian immigrants are eating cats and dogs. That's absolutely gross for a country that, even for the Republican Party, which, you know, apparently according to the Axios poll, 70% of them want militarized concentration camps for undocumented citizens, undocumented migrants. Even those people look at that and go, no, dog, that's a bridge too far. Okay, I think you're being a little crazy. Maybe you're being a little racist. I'm still going to vote for you, but goddamn, that shit was racist. In Detroit, Vice President Kamala Harris was asked if she could lose due to the anger felt by Arabs, Muslims, and supporters of the Palestinian cause over civilian deaths in Gaza.
How risky is it that you could lose the election?
Well, it is undeniable that it is something that everyone is aware of what is happening there. I speak publicly all the time about the fact that there are so many tragic stories coming from Gaza, and of course, the first in this phase of everything that has happened, the first most tragic story is October 7.
There's been an October 7 daily since then, but it is the most tragic. I mean, the only way you see this is if you only see Israelis as human. That's it. You can be as PR trained as you want to be. You can be as media trained as a person who's running for president, right? And even then, no matter what, you have this underlying attitude. Arabs, Muslims are kind of deserving of being relegated to collateral damage status. If you operate with that assumption, if you operate with that as your starting point, you're always going to fuck up because it's not genuine. It's not. All of the lip service is so disingenuous that the underlying disproportionality of the violence that is justified is so apparent in every single instance. This isn't to say that October 7 is not a tragic incident, is not a massacre. Of course it is. But to simply say it is the most tragic, the first thing that happened, and it's the most tragic thing that happened in the aftermath, when you don't actually fucking look at 12 months of active genocide that has been multiple thousands of October 7s at this point. I don't know. I mean, it's very obvious. It's very obvious that you don't care. If anything, you're just kind of annoyed that you even have to answer to the humanity of Palestinians. Like, it's just like, ugh, why don't they just like die quietly? News analysis. Vice President Kamala Harris advised the empathy she has expressed for Palestinians in Gaza should not be confused with any willingness to break from U.S. foreign policy towards Israel as a presidential candidate. I think it's interesting that like they even care to do this sort of thing. They should just be more honest about it. I think overall, there is no difference between the actions that the American government takes in the way that we have locked into a double suicide pact with Israel. There is virtually no difference. There's no daylight between that and Donald Trump. The only difference is Donald Trump is like, no, that shit is good, and I'm in agreement with it. Whereas this administration tries to play this song and dance as though they are like trying to stop Israel, but failing to do so, making them appear even weaker. Both my parents are Zionist megalibs, and even they are starting to recognize that this issue is going to be the one that does Kamala in because of how unpopular of what Israel's doing is. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like liberals also literally are not on, and they're not in line with the Harris administration on this. So for them, I think it's more so about just like getting her to shut up about it too. They're just like, oh, I don't want to even think about that. Now, you might know some people who are denying what Israel's doing is genocide or whatever, but like ultimately, even they recognize that it's kind of fucked up. Thread, Elon Musk targeting Muslim and Jewish voters in Michigan and PA with either showing Kamala as pro-Palestine and pro-Israel. An Elon Musk funded PAC is micro-targeting Muslim people in Michigan and Jewish people in Pennsylvania with the opposite messaging about Kamala Harris using zip code targeting, according to data I pulled from Snapchat. A few things from this investigation. Damn, 404 Media. Okay, respect to Jason Keebler. They are targeting areas in Michigan that have many Muslim voters with ads saying Kamala stands with Israel. I mapped the targeting and it's very specific. They're targeting an area outside of Flint that has a major mosque, but no other parts of Flint. They're targeting a section of Detroit that is majority Muslim. They're not targeting an adjacent area that is 95% black. Then they are targeting an area immediately above that, which has several mosques. It looks like this. That's crazy. In Pittsburgh, they are targeting traditionally Jewish neighborhoods, including a neighborhood where the Tree of Life massacre happened several years ago, as well as several suburbs with large synagogues. In Philadelphia, the targeted areas align with neighborhoods and suburbs that the Jewish Federation of Greater Philadelphia says have vibrant Jewish communities. They're also targeting the town of Hanover, Pennsylvania. I'm not sure exactly why they're targeting Hanover, but it is home to Utz Chips Factory, and the Utz is highlighted that it makes kosher products and as a rabbinic coordinator. A related PAC also funded by Elon Musk is targeting black voters in battleground states with ads that say Dems are going to ban menthol cigarettes. These ads are targeted using interest targeting that a political operative might think is more likely to hit black voters. Here are the Jewish voters here's the ads that Jewish voters in Pennsylvania are getting.
Two-faced Kamala Harris is secretly campaigning for Palestine and trying to get away with it.
I will not be silent about the scale of human suffering in Gaza, including the death of far too many innocent civilians. Our common humanity compels us to act.
Kamala Harris, stop pandering to Palestine and stand with our ally Israel.
Yo, that's awesome. What is this music?
Running ads pandering to Palestine. We must stand up to anti-Semitism. We say no more.
By the way, this is the same Pat that did this rat exclusive. Trump ground game in key states flagged as potentially fake. Data suggests canvassers linked to Elon Musk America PAC falsely claimed to have visited homes with potential voters. That's amazing. Oh my God. He's in the dude. That's so funny. They're themselves over, dog. They have no ground game. He relegated his ground game to Elon Musk. I told you guys this when I told you that when I found out that the Trump campaign was using Elon and Turning Point as their ground game. Turning Point is a little bit more serious about this stuff and has more experience, but especially Elon Musk. I was like, that's the dumbest thing you can do. These things need to be coordinated directly by the campaign. You cannot hope that Elon Musk will push you across the finish line. The ground game is very important for turnout. That is hilarious that Elon Musk, being the charlatan that he is grifting. In Philadelphia, they targeted the areas aligned. Okay, here are the ads that they were running, and here are the ads Muslim voters in Michigan are getting.
She stands with Israel and the Jewish people. Kamala Harris gets it. We can trust her.
You don't always know where Kamala Harris stands. She's changed her mind a lot, but there is one issue she's never budged on. Kamala Harris stands unequivocally with Israel.
Damn, they cooked her on that. I'm not gonna lie.
Kamala relies on her husband, Doug, for counsel on the toughest issues, like Israel's noble fight against the radical terrorists in Gaza. And when Doug talks, Kamala listens.
No, not Doug, bro. Hey, yo, chill. Cooler with my man, Doug, dude. Hey, chill. Fucking chill, dude.
Kamala and Doug, America's pro-Israel power couple.
I do think that this is yet another indication that political discourse has devolved in this spectacular fashion, because this kind of overt racist pandering by a PAC that is so closely aligned with the campaign, which is already kind of illegal. This kind of overt racialized pandering used to be covered in the media as unacceptable. When super PACs used to do shit like this, people would be like, that's unacceptable. Look at this ridiculous ad. I feel like nowadays this is completely devolved. We have completely devolved. Political discourse is so fundamentally broken.
They were the ultimate power couple, Bill and Hillary. For a quarter century, the Clintons ruled the Democratic Party. Now it's their turn.
Dude, Doug and Kamala are just like Bill and... Nah, that doesn't even work, dog. Come on. No, I that's awesome.
And joining Kamala will be her husband and top advisor, Doug Emhoff, who would be the first Jewish president.
Damn, bro, they are cooking Doug. They're cooking Doug so much. I don't think Doug has anything to do with this, man. Like, that's so funny. They're hyping my man up. Now, remember, this is a PAC that Elon Musk is associated with. Why the fuck are they making a goddamn PAC like this where they're just overtly being like Kamala Harris is mind controlled by her Jewish husband? Like, that's insane, dude. You're fucking insane for making an ad like this. It just shows that you're a little bit of a Nazi yourself, you know?
You don't always know where Kamala Harris stands. Fracking, private health care, a secure border. Kamala was against all of that.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
Now she's worried about losing, so she's saying the opposite. She's changed her mind a lot, but there is one issue she's never budged on that makes her worth it. Kamala Harris stands unequivocally with Israel and against its enemies. She always has, and as president, she always will.
You know what's really funny? These guys are so dumb for making this ad like this. Because the people that are writing these ads, like, they're also probably straight up Nazis and shit. And, or even if they're not themselves, they literally think that, like, the average Muslim thinks about Doug or cares about him. The much better way to run these, like, anti-Kamala ads would be that she stands with Biden unconditionally. Because those guys don't give a shit about Doug, dumbass. They care about Biden doing the genocide right now. And Kamala Harris has time and time again given incredible opportunities for these attack ad writers to just be like, she stands with Israel just like she stands with Biden, who is nuking Gaza. If they want to do a better job with this, if they weren't so invested in, like, the notion that every single person in, like, Hamtramck is just like thinking that Kamala Harris is obviously being mind controlled by her Jewish husband, they would do that instead. But it's clear that they don't have the sauce. They don't have the sauce at all. They don't even understand what the fuck they're doing. By the way, this is Donald Trump on Gaza. He's messaging better than Harris. Yeah, I saw this one. Donald Trump's appeal to Michigan's Arab American voters is this. Michigan, key swing state, highest concentration of Arab Americans in the nation. Harris, let's campaign with Liz Cheney. This is what Trump said. Arab voters are very upset that Comrade Kamala Harris, the worst president in the history of the United States, and a low IQ individual, is campaigning with dumb as rock, war hawk Liz Cheney, who, like her father, the man that pushed Bush to ridiculously go to war in the Middle East, also wants to go to war with every Muslim country known to mankind. Remember, Liz Cheney lost her congressional seat by the largest margin, 40%, in history for a sitting congressperson. If Kamala gets 4 more years, the Middle East will spend the next 4 decades going up in flames, and your kids will be going off to war, maybe even a third world war, something that will never happen with President Donald J. Trump in charge. For our country's sake and for your kids' sake, vote Trump for peace. Now, is Trump honest about this? Of course not. He would light the world on fire. He did do that, for the record. He is not a peaceful dove. But the problem is, and this is the exact same issue that Hillary Clinton ran into, Donald Trump was effectively able to turn around and say, Hillary Clinton is a warmonger. I am not. I'm an outsider. And people responded positively to that. This is something that I've told you guys over and over and over again. As a matter of fact, I told you this. The only thing that is keeping Trump away from the he is the real peaceful dove message is that Trump gets ahead of himself too much, and he can't stay consistent on his narrative that he is a peaceful dove. He's too much of a f***ing idiot, and he no longer has the juice nor the sauce that he once had in 2016. This is the reason why he hasn't been able to effectively communicate how he would be better, but it doesn't really matter because here and there, he just drops these, like, hints and positions himself against the Democratic Party that's not even f***ing openly countering this kind of narrative because they can't, because they've already firmly committed to this one position, which is why having this conversation with people who are defending the Democratic Party in all of these, like, extremely online circles is really silly. You are arguing for a position that the DNC is not arguing for. If you were to turn around and tell me that Kamala Harris is going to be so much better for migrants, for the future of this country, you are literally outflanking the Democratic Party when you say that, because the Democratic Party is not saying that. The Democratic Party is saying, no, we are the border control party, not the Republicans. That's the Democratic Party's messaging. You online cannot communicate a different message. You cannot outflank the Democratic Party on this stuff. You cannot fantasize about their position being different than they actually is, especially when they have $1 billion dollars. That's what they're choosing to spend their ad money on. That's what they're choosing to spend their campaign contributions on. That's the foot that they're presenting. That's what their best foot forward is that they are the border control party, and the Republicans are hypocritical for claiming that they care about the border and not doing the border. Do you understand? Do I believe that Donald Trump will be better on Gaza than Kamala Harris? No, I don't. Of course I don't, because I'm not an idiot, but it doesn't matter. Most people are stupid, or most people want to believe that like at least something might be different. And the primary responsibility of a campaign is to identify that inconsistency and hammer it. But if the campaign is locked into a position that is inherently reactionary, they can't do that. And that's precisely what's going on with the Kamala Harris situation. Yeah, Haaretz wrote this opinion piece. Netanyahu not only wants Trump to win, he wants to be able to tell Trump he helped him win. Thomas Friedman argues in the New York Times article. Exactly. Yeah, I know Trump has said the exact opposite of what he's saying here, chatter. I know, we covered this. This is a more honest framing of Donald Trump. He lies about everything. What do you like? I don't know what I can say. He also said the other day that he's the father of IVF 3 seconds after admitting that he didn't know what IVF was until the Alabama senator called him up. And he was like, I learned about it immediately in 2 minutes, better than anyone has ever learned about IVF. And now I'm the father of IVF. He said he's been a defender of IVF since day one, and then openly admitted that he didn't know what the fuck it was. In the same conversation. It doesn't matter. People are fucking stupid. For the past 4 years, it seems like people have just been slamming their fucking head against the goddamn wall. They're like, I don't know. They pick and choose whatever they want to hear because Trump is charismatic. They have short-term memory. They have no memory of what it looked like when Trump was president. They forgot about it completely. They only remember negative real wage growth under the Biden administration and how shitty it was. That's all they remember. So they're like, oh, Trump is great on the economy, I think. And that's why they vote for him. And it's like, what is he going to do for the economy that's going to help you? I don't know. He's just great on the economy. It's stupid. It's stupid as f-. Having said that, however, a competent party is supposed to look at the table, look at the board, look at the game, recognize that Americans are stupid, and then tell them, recognize where they are hurting and say, we're going to fix that.